Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of News Dump. What was that one?
That was,
You don't have to come up with new farts every week.
I kind of do.
Okay.
Anyway, this has just been a terrible, terrible week.
Yeah.
For homophobes and racists.
Yeah.
America finally took a long, good look at the stars and bars, aka the Confederate flag, even though it was actually just the battle flag of Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. But who cares?
Yeah.
And America decided, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be cool with a flag that celebrates that one time half of the country committed treason so they could keep owning slaves.
Oh, but ETC, you guys just don't get it. It's about Southern heritage and honoring the Confederate soldiers who died in battle. Yeah, well, you know who else fought and died bravely in battle? Millions of German Wehrmacht soldiers in World War II. You can appreciate their sacrifice without waving a swastika flag the same way you can honor Confederate soldiers without waving the stars and bars.
And that's all we're gonna say about that. Because just yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court finally ruled on whether or not same-sex marriage is constitutional, and in a close 5-4 decision, they voted yes, goddammit, who gives a shit? Why are we still talking about this?
Yeah, Justice Anthony Kennedy said of the decision, "It would misunderstand these men and women to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Their hope is not to be condemned to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institutions. They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law. The Constitution grants them that right." Bravo!
Finally! Jesus!
Bravo.
I mean, this was something that was going to inevitably happen anyway. I mean, there was already 36 out of the 50 states with legalized gay marriage in their state laws, and I mean, recently Ireland made the news for legalizing same-sex marriage via a popular vote, despite being a pretty Catholic country that's pretty conservative on a lot of stuff. But regardless, this is a big fucking deal.
Yeah, and also not a big fucking deal at all, because again, who the hell cares? The fact that this is even something that needs to be debated is absurd in a lot of ways, because the only real argument against it has to be, and has always been, religious. And America isn't a theocracy. But whatever, we got some great Onion articles out of the whole thing.
Onion was just on point.
They must have had them all backed up and they were just like, open the floodgates.
Yeah, like with obituaries.
Yeah.
We got to write articles once this happens.
But yeah, it doesn't matter if you're, I feel like if you're our age or you brought up in our generation, like gay marriage and gay rights, you don't even want to think about it in that way because
it just affect me at all.
It should just be there. You should be able to marry whoever you want.
Yeah.
You should be able to be gay if you want to be gay. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe to our grandparents, they're like, I don't know.
They're all gonna die soon.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, another huge piece of American political news came in the form of President Obama appearing on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, proving once and for all that all the condescending and dismissive shit that Howard Stern has been saying about podcasts not being real media is dead wrong.
Yeah.
Take that, Howard.
WTF has always been one of the most listened to podcasts available because Mark Maron's casual and conversational interview style lets listeners gain a ton of insight into his guests, who are usually comedians and actors.
Yeah, and surprisingly, President Obama did manage to be pretty candid and personal during the podcast, despite being the President of the United States and the most powerful man in the world, technically.
Yeah.
Whether you like him or not, and I understand that some of you might not,
Yeah.
Obama is a very unique and smart dude whose ability to calmly manage the stress of being president while also being a husband and father is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, the whole thing is worth a listen, not just for Obama's answers, but to also hear just how stressed out Mark Maron was about the whole thing. He records his podcast in his garage, and the fact that his neighborhood is now swarmed with Secret Service and police and snipers on his roof, it made him even more neurotic than he usually is.
It's like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Now, of course, traditional media isn't quite as nuanced as long-form podcasts are, and despite all of the insightful shit to come out of the conversation, the only thing anyone in traditional news media seemed to hear from the whole thing was that Obama said the N-word out loud.
Oh no!
I mean, never mind that he's black and he said it in the context of talking about racism and how that conversation needs to change. He said the N-word.
Oh no! But why can't we say it, huh?
Yeah.
If we're getting rid of the Confederate flag, why aren't we getting rid of rap music that has the N-word in it? Yeah, these are actual topics of conversation from American news media this week. So America has a long way to go.
Yeah, we've come a long way, and also just barely come anywhere at all.
Keep doing some baby steps. Look, like, it boggles my mind that conversation was happening. Like, why are they selling rap music in Walmart? Like, do you not understand how much of a racist bigot you sound like? But I guess they don't care.
Anyway, this whole episode isn't just gonna be about politics.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It's also gonna be about ecstasy.
Yeah, last weekend was the Electric Daisy Carnival, aka EDC, out in Las Vegas, and a bunch of EDM acts performed in front of like 100,000 people who gives a shit about any of that? Because Above and Beyond instantly won EDC by having Bryan Cranston come on stage during their set.
Yeah, Above and Beyond has a track called Walter White, and who better to introduce that song than the guy who masterfully played Walter White on TV for 5 years. Still, very bizarre. I mean, you'd think something like this would be completely off Bryan Cranston's radar, but apparently he's even cooler than we thought.
Yeah. I've been going to Braves this whole time.
Guys, I've been at every EDC.
I just love the music. Yeah, so anyway, he came out, he took the microphone, told the audience, "Say my name!" And then when they did that, he said, "You're goddamn right!" And then he shouted, "Walter White! Above and Beyond!" before pressing the magical play button and dancing around on stage like a guy who isn't 59 years old.
It was great. And speaking of great TV that won't stop reminding us of its greatness long after it leaves the airwaves, Hulu is celebrating the fact that it's now got every episode of Seinfeld on its service by completely reassembling Jerry's apartment in New York. So that's cool. Yeah, so anyone who wants to go experience hanging out in the most iconic fictional TV apartment of all time, go nuts.
Yeah, it's only open until Sunday.
Oh, well,
so
hurry
if
up.
you want to see it, and also they got a bunch of other props and set pieces from Seinfeld. Head on down to Chelsea and check it out. And for those of us not in New York, though, at least we've got every episode of Seinfeld on Hulu. I mean, that's the real.
Gotta binge watch it this weekend.
Yeah.
You end up here like Tuesday morning. I finally finished.
The apartment is weird though, because it's in like a storefront. So like, the side of the apartment that you never saw is like just a wall of glass windows looking out onto the street.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
But enough celebration. Let's move on to frustration because NBC canceled Hannibal and fans are very upset. So like a lot of network TV shows over the years, it was well liked by fans and critics, but just didn't get enough viewers to justify taking up a whole network TV time slot.
That shit's gold, baby.
Yeah.
And like other shows in that same situation, like Arrested Development and Community, and more recently The Mindy Project, it's looking increasingly likely that Hannibal is going to be resurrected by a streaming platform like Netflix or Hulu or Yahoo or Amazon or who the hell knows.
And they'll probably do a way better job at it.
Yeah.
So, seems more and more like cable and streaming is where actually creative, interesting shows go. And network TV is where cop shows and doctor shows go to help old people fall asleep at night. So,
yeah. So hopefully for Hannibal fans, the streaming option works out. It sounds like it very well might, and hopefully this just kind of becomes the normal progression of things.
Until it is the mainstay.
Yeah.
So speaking of streaming, July is nearly here, and you know what that means? Netflix is dropping a bunch of shit. Oh well.
It's also getting a bunch of new stuff too. As usual, there's a lot of filler in both categories, but let's take a look at what you actually should watch before it disappears.
Leaving on July 1st, you've got Castaway, the movie where Tom Hanks gets marooned on an island and makes friends with a volleyball. One of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Then you got Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the surreal, drug-fueled Hunter S. Thompson adaptation by Terry Gilliam.
That movie is fantastic. If for some reason you haven't seen it yet, watch it right now.
It's real fun.
Then there's Louis C.K.'s stand-up special Hilarious, which I just watched on the plane to England.
Yeah, that's great.
It was actually hilarious.
Super Troopers, which if you haven't seen, watch it, because there's another one coming
Especially
next
if you're in college and you have a bong sitting next to you.
Yeah,
It's great.
That's the best way to watch it.
Yeah. Greatest action movie ever, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is leaving.
If you haven't seen Terminator 2,
you're really missing out.
Yeah. It's the best one. It's the best action movie ever.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Then there's also Iraq War Dramedy 3 Kings and The Trailer Park Boys, the movie. It's not the Big Dirty though. That's the best one.
Anyway, coming to Netflix in July, you've got Grandma's Boy, which was the last good thing that Happy Madison has made.
Yeah.
That's coming on July 1st. And then a new season of BoJack Horseman on the 17th. And then, one of our favorites, The Guest.
Starring friend of the show, Michael Monroe. Yeah, all right. Go watch The Guest. That's fucking amazing. And then obviously on July 31st, we're getting that Wet Hot American Summer series. Wet Hot American Summer, First Day at Camp.
Which I am so excited for.
It's so good.
Anyway, finally, let's close out this dump with our top picks for videos on YouTube that you need to go watch now.
Yeah.
Starting with this time-lapse of Jon Stewart throughout his entire Daily Show run from 1999 to today, showing him aging 16 years in just 2 minutes.
Scary.
This must have been really tedious to put together. I mean, it looks like they got a frame from like every week he's done on the show, but I mean, props to whoever put it together. It's really cool.
Next up, stop motion karate from YouTube special effects wizards Corridor Digital, which features two dudes having an epic martial arts fight sideways on the ground, shot from above in stop motion. So it's always fun seeing what they make, and this is no different.
They make great shit all the time. Like a few weeks back, they did the GTA in real life, which is like
amazing,
so perfectly. A lot of people have tried doing that.
We tried doing that. Well, this was years ago.
But they nailed it. They always do. These guys are great.
And finally, guys, My Wife's Junk is back!
Yeah, you probably have no idea what My Wife's Junk is, but you should, because it's one of our favorite YouTube shows.
Yeah.
It's basically just a dude going through a divorce who needs to get rid of all of his ex-wife's stuff, Instead of tossing it all onto the street, he sells all the items through the magic of YouTube and eBay.
Yeah, previous junk includes Black Boy Angel, Swan toilet paper holder, and a Patch Adams VHS. So it's really good. And now, after a 2-year hiatus, he is back to pitch us all this Someone Special plaque, which you should really buy for Someone Special.
It's known to make grown men cry.
This is one of my favorite series. It is so deadpan and perfect.
Yeah.
It's, oh my god, I love it. Go watch all of them. Go watch all of them.
And you'll know David from My Wife's Junk if you've seen any of Mark from Sick Animation's live action stuff that he's put out recently.
So there you go.
Very funny stuff.
Enjoy, guys, and don't forget that tomorrow is our podcast with Mike Shinoda from Lincoln Park in Fort Minor, and we can't say this enough. He was the nicest guy in the entire world.
Great guest.
Like, felt like we were best friends with him within 5 minutes of sitting down, so it actually turned out to be an incredibly well done podcast. Like, Maddie, the editor, was saying, like, it was just fun to edit. So hopefully it's fun to watch.
Check it out.
Yeah. Bye.